hope you all had an amazing week. And today I have a very exciting video for you guys because we're going to catch up on my reading journal. I was severely behind on my reading journal. I kind of stopped doing anything to it around February. Around February my life kind of took a turn and so many things happened that I just didn't have the time, or I didn't really take the time to fill in my reading journal. And I was quite sad about it because I love my setup for this year, but then I didn't do anything with it. So because I was so much behind, I decided to catch up on everything, and I've been catching up for most parts off camera. I wanted to film everything, but then I realized it was one, going to take a lot of time, and two, it was going to be a very long video. So I decided to take you guys along for the final catch-up process. We're going to catch up with the last 3 months, so May, June and July, and I also want to catch up and fill everything in for the year overviews for the last couple of months, because I have filled in a couple of things but not everything yet, so I want to do that with you guys too as well. And yeah, that's kind of what we will be doing during this video. After I'm done with filling everything in, I will show you guys a flip through of my reading journal so far, so you have an idea how my reading journal is looking. So if it is something that you might enjoy, then I would suggest grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something else to drink. Make yourself comfortable and let's fill in my reading journal. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Juliette and I talk about books and all kinds of other stuff, and each Saturday I'm here with a new video for you. So if you like this video and you like the type of content, then you can always hit the subscribe button so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. But further than ado, let's get into my reading journal. This is my little setup for my catching up for my reading journal. I've got my stickers, my markers, my pen that I use for the reading journal. I've got my books that I printed out very small, my tape as well, and I needed a drink too. I'm drinking a green tea, a Morocco mint tea, and I absolutely love that. And this is my reading journal that I've been using for the last 2 years, and we're going to catch up on 2025. If you actually want to see the full setup of my reading journal, I'll post a link in the description box down below in case you're interested. But yeah, I just want to catch up. I put a couple of post-its around the edges of the paper so I know exactly where to go, what still needs to be filled in. And while I'm going to do that, I'm also going to watch the Tour de France because I love watching something. Well, I do something crafty at the same time as well, and it's Tour de France season and I absolutely love the Tour de France. It's a cycling race, in case you don't know, we're in France, here in Europe, and I absolutely love watching that. So we're going to watch that as I fill everything in.
see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends, this being more than friends, yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day, yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. Falling into your arms, dancing up in the stars. Oh, where I'd rather be than with you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me.
I'm finally done with my catching up on my reading journal for 2025. I have filled in everything that I needed to fill in. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Super happy that I finally tackled this down because it's been on my mind for so long. And yeah, I just love how my reading journal is looking. I am obsessed with it, to be quite fair. This is my front page. If you want to know all the stuff that I use, I know I didn't really explain anything during this video. I can explain more about that in my setup for my 2025 reading journal. So if you're curious, definitely check that video out. But on the first page that you saw me fill in, it's actually my 70 books reading goal for this year. I want to read 70 books, and I am currently on my 35th book that I'm reading. So I already read 34, so I'm really happy with this progress. Then we come to a page that I'm not entirely sure about what I think of how this looks. I loved it at the beginning, but it's quite colorful. So I'm not entirely sure if I do the spread again next year, if I will again color each book a different color. I might actually go for 1 or 2 colors instead of a lot, because that will be a little bit easier for the eyes and also make the books a little bit larger, so that they're easier to fill in, because I read a lot of books with long titles and it's quite hard to actually fill them in nicely this way, so I might make them a little bit larger next year. But yeah, this is kind of like where I track down, just simply write down all the books that I read so far. Then we come to a page that I really like, my monthly stats page. Yeah, I kind of keep track on my how many books I read, my pages, if I've read an audiobook, an ebook, a library or an owned book, how many books I bought and how many 5 stars I gave in each month. And I love this concept. I love the idea of tracking this down and see how I'm doing. I especially love the amount of books I have been reading for my own physical TBR. In January I read 4, in March I read 2, in April and May I read both 8 books each month, and in June 3. So I've read a large number of my own physical TBR, which I just love. I am a little bit surprised with how many I read from the library, only 1, so that definitely gives me something to think about by the end of the year, in order if I do or do not, well, get another library card. I'm not entirely sure. We have to pay there. We have to pay for our library cards here in the Netherlands. So only reading 1 book for that amount of money is something to think about. And then also the books that I bought most of the books at the beginning of the year. I always do that. My birthday is around the end of the year. We have Christmas, I get a lot of gift cards, so I buy quite a large amount of books at the beginning of the year, and it slowly takes off, so that's really, really good. Slowly gets less many each month. But then we come to another tracking page for my non-fiction books, my French books, my classic books and my Agatha Christie. And this is the page where I'm kind of like disappointed about in the amount of books I read. I only read 1 non-fiction, 1 classics. I haven't read any French translated books, well, except for Cheese Sweet Home, but those are manga books, and I really meant to put down novels, so I do not want to count 4 mangas as 4 French books, even though they are written in French. But yeah, I definitely prefer to read a couple more French novels, and I hope to do that this month actually. But non-fiction, I read The Plantagenets, a history book. For classics, I love Winnie the Pooh, so I read The House at Pooh Corner. And I only read 3 books from Agatha Christie so far, so I'm highly behind on this goal as well. Then we come to the only page I've been keeping track on throughout 2025. The reason why this is the only page I've been keeping track on is simply because I want to know what I can read each month and how many books I read from this TBR. These are the 25 books for 2025. I love this goal. I definitely love to just simply check if I can read any of these books and if I want to read any of these books. So yeah, this is the only page I've been filling in so far. And then we come to my series tracker, and I'm actually very proud on how I'm doing with my book series currently. I have finished 4 book series so far. I finished Emily Wilde's. I also, well, I kind of catched up with the Empyrean series. Like, there are no more books until I think 2027. So yeah, I can't read any more books than that. I finished Sweet Home. I also finished The Bride of the Shadow King and the Shepherd King series. So I'm really happy with that. And I actually forget one, I see, because I also finished the first duology from These Hollow Vows, but I'm not going to continue with this book series. So in my eyes, I also finished that one. Then we come to my 2025 new book releases. I have to admit that I do not have a lot of books that I'm looking forward to for the next 6 months. I also have not really took a deep dive into what books are being released. There are just a couple that I already knew they were going to be released because they're like authors that I really enjoy, or some books caught my eye. But I also don't want to know more books that are being released. I'll probably catch up on this throughout the rest of the year, but I also do not want to buy too many books. So this always makes me too excited for what's coming out, and then I end up buying the books. So I kind of want to keep this a little bit of a lower, smaller list. But here I will insert a picture of all the books I'm looking forward to for 2025 in the next couple of months. I especially am really looking forward to A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping and Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. Like these two books, oh, I can't wait until I have them in my hands and can read them. I'll probably save them for autumn because I think they'll have better autumn vibes than summer vibes. But yes, these two books I really want to read. And then we come to a page that I did today, my Year in Books 2025. I love this idea. This is definitely something that I'm going to do again next year. I love the idea of simply looking at all the books that I read, all these beautiful covers, all these colors, it pops up. I love this. I actually read one more, but I haven't printed that book out yet. It's a Dungeon Crawler Crawl book, but I haven't printed that out. Then we come to personal goals, which I'll make a deep dive at the end of the year. We come to the Book of the Year spreadsheet, and I've put down my favorites, and here is the page where I took a little bit more liberty, because for each month I write down my favorite book and my least favorite book. And this is my spreadsheet for January, as you can see. But I decided to go a little bit differently for the Book of the Year, because sometimes one of my favorite books isn't per se like the book that I am still thinking about right now. For example, it's actually for the month of April. I read so many amazing books in April, and there were so many that stood out. I wrote down as a favorite Done and Dusted. It's definitely one of my favorites, but my all-time favorite I read in April is Sunrise on the Reaping. I also decided not to go with books that I read before, except for February, because in February I only read 2 books, and I really disliked the second one, Fate, Ink and Blood. I really didn't like this one. So in my eyes, I only have one that I can put down, and that's By the Pricking of My Thumbs. But yeah, I really want to try not to put down any of the books that I have read before in this spreadsheet. So yeah, that's this one. Then we come to my monthly TBRs and monthly reads. I love especially this. I love the idea of writing down stuff about my favorite book, least favorite book. I love sticking in the book covers again. And here we have February. Didn't read a lot in February. I was ill for the most part of the month. Then we come in March, the month that I was moving. So also a very busy month, but I was still able to read 2 audiobooks. And I even read The Way of Kings. I'm so proud I read this in the month that I was moving. I still don't know how I did that. Then we come in April, which is probably one of my favorite spreadsheets. I just love it. But it's mostly because I loved all the books in this month, except these Twisted Ones. But everything else I loved. In May, also a very amazing book month, except for the Thursday Murder Club. Didn't really like this one, but everything else I loved. Then we come in June. I only read 3 books in June. So didn't read a lot in June either, but I really love how this spreadsheet turned out. And then we come in July. I will actually finish this later this month, which is probably in like 2 weeks, I think. And then we'll start at August. But yeah, I really love how this is turning out. I will fill everything in, obviously, at the end of the month. I always prefer to see how many books I read, because then I know how many stickers to use. And as you could see me using it for June and May as well, I prefer to put the books in first and then decorate with stickers. So yeah, I am not filling this in any further right now until I am done with the month and know how much and many books I read. So I'm so happy with how everything turned out. I'm really glad that I'm finally able to catch up on my reading journal, and I really hope that I will not fall behind again, because catching up was fun but also a lot of work, and I definitely prefer to do this like every month, so I also have a little bit of a fresher opinion about the books that I read, because I did a lot of things out of memory, and of course I still know what I read and why I disliked or loved a book, but at the same time having your more fresher opinions about these books would be a lot more enjoyable to have them on paper. So that's definitely like one of my goals. I'm going to keep track of my reading journal from now on. There'll definitely be a video towards the end of the year where I'll show you guys my whole flip through of the year, so you have an idea on how everything will turn out to be. But if you want another video like this somewhere around October, like I don't know, another quarterly update or something, just let me know in the comment section down below, and I would love to know if you guys keep up with the reading journal as well. Without further ado, I wish you all an amazing weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. Bye bye.